Well, a guy has flown to eastern Pennsylvania where I bought a 1981 Chrysler Imperial sight unseen. I know nothing about this car other than it's been sitting in this barn untouched and unmoved for 21 years. I've got a junk toolkit, some tires, and a couple parts. The plan is to see if I get this thing running and drive it more than 950 miles back home. Let's go check this thing out. So here's the Chrysler now, and a couple photographs I saw that I went, yep, I'll take it. It looked black, but it's kind of a nice black cherry color. We're in the top floor of a Dutch bank barn. This is built into the side of a hill, basically. I'm actually standing on the roof of the first floor. This is a gorgeous barn. I would say built in the late 1800s. I'm seeing a lot of handmade wood dowels and pins that hold this barn together. Hand-hewn logs everywhere. It's incredible. Fellers below me, the previous owner of the car, he's working on his 55 Chevy. I think I'm standing on his head, actually. Now, Imperials, they were built from 55 to 75, and then again from 81 to 83. And I'm told that this particular unit is pretty rare because this is an 81, and it was a 1 year only throttle body injected system. And I think Chrysler said, okay, we tried it, that's enough of that. So that's gonna be interesting and a challenge in itself. Above and beyond the obvious, it's been sitting here for 21 years. Let's take a close look at the rig. I peek through the window. We got keys hanging. I'm gonna grab those. Let's start in the trunk, see if we can get that open. It's kind of pinned against the wall. And we'll start working through this thing, come up with a list of parts missing or needed, and then maybe make a plan. No, probably not. Okay. Got a lot of good lumber in here. Whole lot of keys. When you're sad, I'm sad. Got it. I smile because I have no idea what's going on. I'll be dipped. Did I already own this car at some point? No, I didn't. Okay, here's the story on this. Why would someone park this beautiful car? Well, it was the guy's first car. He got this when he was 16 years old, believe it or not. And he drove the wheels off the thing. And then he got older and went to college. And he parked it up when he went to school, basically. Fuel mileage, cost of fuel, which is a really common reason older vehicles are parked. I don't know how to, where's the key go on these? Here? I don't think that's the right key. They're all wadded up in here. What about this one? It goes in, it's not doing nothing. This way? No, Chrysler's got the upside down key going on for it. Well, for Pete's sake, there we go. This way, no. This way? There we go. Ouch! The trunk comes out right there. Oh wow, we got roller skates. And speaker wire. Okay, I'll get you in here. We got some good stuff. So here we can see the color. It's beautiful. Maybe we can get it cleaned up all like that. Pretty clean interior on the trunk here. We got a space saver. Coat hanger. Look at these things. Isn't that cool? I'll have to take these down to him. He might have been looking for them. We got another sporting box of some kind. Maybe that's where the skates go. Some papers. I don't know what these are. Nothing. Nothing, I guess. Tire iron. A whole bunch of speaker wire. That might come in handy. Well, we ain't got to buy a chamois. We got one right here. Look at that. Old school turtle wax. 1997. It's a brick. We'll try to use it. But the good news is I'm not seeing any engine parts of any kind. No fuel pumps or digital dues or whatnots or anything like that. I'm going to grab these out. Okay, now let's rummage through the interior here. See what we got going on in here. Okay. It is definitely musty. It's kind of nice. It's like an old Western cafe, woodsy shop kind of mouse smell. It's tantalizing. There's a lot of mold, significant amount of mold in here. That's fine. Let's get right in here. Okay. Look at all the digital beep boops. Digital windows, seats, mirrors. These were their luxury car. Quality engineered. Yeah, I think this had the magical center console thing. Yep, right there. I think it was the first mass-produced digital center thing. I don't know about that. I thought Buick had it, but maybe not. Horn buttons are deleted. Lots of mold in here. Must get quite a bit of moisture. But it's pretty clean. Not a lot of mouse trails. Oh, we got boom booms. Man, Dr. Dre would be proud. They're chrome looking. With some pine even. Headliner's down, but nice feller said he might got one that would fit the car. I think he said his parents had it redone for his birthday or Christmas or something like that. Leather experts. What kind of leather are we talking about? Oh, that's a nice looking grill. I did notice the one in the front is smashed out. So that's pretty cool. Fancy. I can see how these were pretty Cadillac-ish. You know, I don't think we're going to get mileages or nothing. All of that's digital in the dash there. Of course, she had AC in all the Lickens. CD player, Pioneer. That's good news. There's some stuff over in that door card. I don't think I can get that door open though. E-brake might be pressed on. Uh-oh. Let's go ahead and see if we can get under the... I think it might be popped. Let's get in the power barn. So a guy's going to shoot you straight, you know, as I always do. I am moving slow and deliberately. I've got a real bad knee. I messed my knee up. Something fierce. Might have something torn in here. I'm not sure. But anywho, I'm working really slow, and it's got me concerned. Well, how in the devil, there we go, that I'm going to be able to move fast enough to get this put together, to be able to get it on the road and get back home in time. I'm going to do my best, but I can't kneel on it. I can't do much of it. So, hey, here we go. 318, the only engine they offered in the 81 to 83s. It looks like it's all here. We've got completed. We've had some hoses doodabbed and whatnot in here. I do see some digital stuff. Looks like it's unplugged or been eaten by mice or something. Digital injection on the old spark whirler. Cruise control's still here. Plastic looking brake thing. Of course, we're not going to hit that pedal till it's time to leave. But anywho, come on in here. We'll take a look. Yep. Lots and lots of plastic stuff. And doodabs. I'm seeing a lot of vacuum stuff unplugged, which maybe they've already kind of went through and undallied everything that didn't need dallied. I see an O2 sensor down there. Perfect. That's wonderful. It hasn't had a battery in a long time, which reminds me I forgot to bring one. So we got a I don't know what that is. A can of stew or vegetables down there. It's got all the AC stuff. Way down in there, you can see a 318. But it doesn't look like it's gotten eaten up too terribly bad by the Mises or anything else. It's had one lightning hose replaced. That's fine, you don't need all of them. Trans rebuilt by Mike in 2002. That must have been when it was parked. Maybe. I think the window tag ran out in 03. So it's got a new transmission. Well, that's great news. We're gonna have to get this off and take a look. We need fuel, spark, and compression, basically, to make this thing go off. I think we're gonna be okay on the sparkles and the compression, but I'm worried about the fuel system here. And it's supposed to be a TBI under there. Let's see. Oh, look at this. Yeah. I'm a nerd when it comes to old buildings and stuff. I just love the history. Ooh, we got some corn. Might need that later. Okay, anyway, car, yes. Let's put the wing nut back here while we'll forget it. Oh, wow. That's sealed. Okay. What? We got framage. We got some mouse housage. More hoses. That is a carburetor. That's a carburetor. What's going on here? It is an 81. I got the title. It says 81. Yeah, I got a title for once. So I was expecting to see a throttle body unit, but no. That's a 2-barrel carburetor. And I was trying to clean the tag off here, figure out what this thing is, but we got high pressure fuel clamps on this. I'm going to start tracking the fuel line and see what kind of pump. If we got a mechanical pump, that's great. We're not going to have to mess with the Terminator broccoli injection, but that doesn't make sense because 81 was the only year of the TBI. Let's check the build date. That should be here. Yeah, 4 of 81. So it wasn't a late 81. It was an early 81. Made in Canada. Well, from what I can tell, this is going to be some sort of regulator or something. It's got digital beep boops coming out of it. But you've got a return. You've got in the fuel make a happener, obviously. Return. And that return line is this guy, which does seem to go somewhere else. And if you squint real hard and close your left eyeball, you can see a mechanical fuel pump conveniently hidden under 97 pipes, brackets, and doodads. So, full carb swap. That's what I was saying about the linkages and everything. Still a lot of electrical stuff on it though. So that's pretty interesting. So this is starting to come back around to me. I bought this car 97 years ago, and the previous owner, I believe, may have mentioned something weird was going on with the fuel system because he was as puzzled as I currently am as to what he was in the past, equal to mine now is. Anyway, someone, I don't know how, custom ordered this or converted it somehow, but it all looks like factory legit stuff. I mean, all the wires are plugged in for like the choke and the vacuum stuff, and like it's not, doesn't look like it's been cobbled. I mean, you've got a heat riser, everything. So let me do some digging, see what I can find here. I mean, the cruise control is hooked, everything. All of it is like correct. Definitely doesn't look like I worked on that, I'll tell you that much. So if we get this car out, we can get that door swung all the way open. We'll dig around in the mitten box, see if we can find some paperwork, or maybe it was like a dealer conversion. Remember the Cadillac we just did work on? People complained enough, they'd take them back in and they'd do a dealer conversion for you, essentially. Maybe that's what this had, but I'm not really a Chrysler guru. So if you know, bleep bloop it down there in the comment box if you've seen or heard of this, or if we just have some sort of ultra rare one-off deal. Okay, so I'm gonna scoot to town and pick up a battery for this. I need a fuel jug, some fuel line, a couple other things. I think we're gonna start with just checking fluids and trying to get this thing to fire off by just dumping something flammable down the yap. And if it doesn't knock or bang, then we could start working through getting this thing idling. Not worried about the transmission. Well, I shouldn't say that. Even though it was rebuilt 22 years ago, sitting is terrible for them. The seals and everything else. Valves could be sticky or stuck. I gotta get some juices. I don't know. Write all this down. Guy's back from the parts store. Well, I don't know what they got running below me. Sounds like an egg beater wide open. Nice guy at the store there. Says, hey Derek, what are you doing? I need a battery. 81 Imperial. He says, why do you need that? He says, well, I'm working on it. And he said, on purpose? Yeah. And then the guy next to him says, boy, you're a glutton for punishment, young'un. I said, I don't know what that means. And the other guy, old timer by him, says, what was he saying? He says he's working on an 81 Imperial. And then that guy says, I better hope it's got a carburetor, because them Chrysler electronicals don't electronate. So I don't know if I'm feeling better or worse. I guess better, because I think we really do have a factory conversion on this. And it might save us some digital work. Probably not all. Get out of here. Where does this go this way? This battery's got a go handle. Of course, that's why we picked up on it. I believe the post to be on the wrong side. I guessed. Let's be honest. Yeah, that's not long enough. Extend. Boy, she'll be taunt, but we're gonna make her work. Don't have my Leatherman because we flew, and I don't feel like I got nothing on me. This battery post seems brand new. So I'm gonna do the right thing and just clean it up, you know, because we're not changing that, let's be honest. And we'll clean this one up too, a little bit. Clean. Hook that in. Oh, she's raining. I guess we're gonna see how bad the roof leaks here in a minute. And also good, my box of rags and a couple other things back of the rental are getting soaked. That's fine. Okay. Might have to temporarily, permanently put a vice grip on that. Clamper. Fire test. I actually did have a car smoke up on me the other day after doing a fire test. It warrants doing them. The cowl went up. I don't know if it was the old radio or what it was. Oh, we got domage. The gauges just turned on. Odometer, 11111111111. I think we're gonna say the computer seems to be working fine. No, there's absolutely no way this was parked with 111,111 miles That would be pretty wild. What's the juice stick say? It is full. Doesn't smell like fuel or anything like that. So we can spin it over for a second anyway. Should be just fine. How do you find the other juice stick? Hello? Where's... help me. How do you can't even see nothing. This probably shouldn't show up unless we get it running. Got to check them while they're spinning, but oh yeah. Look. Oh, you can't see it? Well, I'll tell you, it's kind of black cherry color. Smells not totally bad. Anyway, so that's good. Okay, ice cube juice. Yep, it's got juice in it. Wow, okay. It looks green, so we can assume the cooling system doesn't leak anywhere and that the block isn't cracked. I don't know if it gets that cold out here, does it? I don't know. That's why I was asking you. I don't think it does either, but it's nice that it's on there. Giant smog pump belt thing is still hooked up. Well, I should probably disco with fuel before we start spinning on this. We don't know what's in the tank. If there is any fuel, let me check the gauge. Good idea. Oh, remember the computers. Doesn't seem to be fuel. Doesn't say anything underneath of it. Maybe the key has to be on. That would make sense, right? Okay. Dash is shorting out. Stuff's blinking all over the place. Oh, maybe it's coming back around. It was just flashing around like crazy. But fuel doesn't say anything. So that's good. Another point about the conversion here is they'd have to put a different tank in it, because I'm assuming when it was TBI, the tank would be, you know, with the digital pump. And now we got a mechanical up here. So that's interesting. So anywho, let me get in here and struggle. I'm gonna try to disconnect this mechanical pump, and then we'll throw something down the app, hit the key, and hopefully ignition works, starter works, engine rotates, and then we'll see if we can get it to fire. There's no way I'm getting a wrench on this thing. And on the crank, there's no bolt on the charging whirler or AC pump, so we're gonna have to do it the not so good way, which is just jam the starter into it. Okay, disconnecting the fuel line going into the pump, which would be coming from the tank. Boy, I tell you what, hopefully this pump comes back around, because it would not be fun replacing this. It's, you can hardly see it in this crazy alien bracketry. I've never seen something so obscene. Holding the charging whirler on here, that's the size of a basketball, is in the way. I mean, might as well just pull the motor at that point. We got a shot though, it's mechanical. Might just have to back feed the lines, try to lubricate it up. Ooh, they are crunchy. The lines. Oh, I can smell varnish fuel terribly bad. Thompson water seal. That's what it smells like. There we go. Okay. Whew. Dust went up. And it smells. Okay. Now, we still don't have a fire. I don't know if there's an actual ECU, ECM, PCM, ICT, BCM thing in here, or it's just like a module. Oh boy, that one's going to be a geyser that runs the dash. I'm not really sure how that works in this unit, but That doesn't look happy. It looks like it's in a default mode with all the ones everywhere. Hopefully it'll run without needing anything like that. So let's go ahead and turn the key and see if this engine rotates after sitting for 2 decades. Nope, probably not. Rethinking here. It's indoors. It's not on concrete, which these wood floors with the spaces in them is letting moisture kind of move. It doesn't get stuck in the car. We might have a shot here. Something's beeping. I don't know what that means. Is that the old keys in the ignition beep? Okay, here comes key. Turning? Yep. It's got a gallop. Yes. Okay, it ain't stuck. Did you hear that gallop though? Well, it goes like this. Na 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 na. Except without the Egyptian dance. That means one of these cylinders is significantly lower on compression than the rest of them. So when it hits that one cylinder, the engine speeds up because it's easier to turn. Doesn't mean it's bad necessarily. The rings could be stuck or froze or varnished up. And we've brought a lot of them around, fellers, over the years. Okay, let's go ahead and dump some Firemaker down this. Normally a guy would get in here and test the ignition coil and the doodads and whatnots. But like I said, I flew in. We have limited tools. I literally have a junk toolkit thing, universal thing. I've got nothing else. So it either has spark or it doesn't. How do you tell? Put something flammable in it. You know what I mean? If it doesn't fire, then we'll start going backwards. But she only needs what she needs. We don't need to get carried away putting a bunch of parts in and wasting money. There's the ignition coil way back down here. It's all hooked up. Okay, let me get some juice. Oh, I don't even got a loan with 6,000. I got some fix-it fuel, ethanol free. It says fix, pour, or non-running engines. Well, here we go. It must have some additional cleaning stuff because it says it cleans varnish and things. But all I'm going to do is just pour a little down the app, like this. That was way too much. Perfect. Now we'll just twist the key, and it should spit and sputter and fire, and if it does, okay, boom, we have ignition, sparkles. And then we can continue on. Okay. Bringing the thunders. Yep, there it goes. Oh, the valve train sounds horrible. Yes, yes, yes. Whoa, snapped my ankle off. It runs. It fired right off. Clearly hasn't run in, well, decades. There's no oil pressure when it first fired. Sounded like it was starting to get better, but that's the lifters not being pumped up and running there. But that's great news. We have spark. So I don't even think we have to touch any of that. Why waste the time and money? Okay, we got to get this thing on the road. Okay, now I think we go ahead. We either need to hook up a makeshift fuel system, or we try to pull from the tank, because we're going to need that capacity. If we're going to be running 950 miles, I don't want to have a 5-gallon jug in the back seat. We'll do it. Don't tempt me with a good time. I'm just saying, I don't know what kind of mileage this is going to get, and that seems like an awful lot of stops. So let me ponder for a minute here, okay? Okay. Moving some of these boards, not helping my knee situation. Very good. I always like to leave these places cleaner than when I show up, so I'll have to ask if I want these stacked back down here when I leave, or just sweep it out, or I don't know what the deal is yet. Well, I've thoroughly assessed our fuel situation here. Normally I'd like to run a hose to a gas can or even just that little bottle I was using and let this thing run off of that for a minute, but I can't get my hand to the fitting underneath the pump, and I don't have a barrel connector to go from hose to hose. So it's either another 45 minutes to get a barrel, or we just quick try first, dump fuel in this. I thought it was a flip down fuel door, but in fact, because luxury, it's right here and I can get to that. So I'm gonna figure out how to open that up, and then we will dump some fresh fuel in there, and we're gonna try to pull fuel right from the fuel tank. And if it works, boy, we saved a ton of time. If it doesn't, boy, we wasted a ton of time, and then we'll do it the other way. Okay. Fresh fuel coming down. Door opened right up, which is good. Now again, I don't know when this carb replacement took place. And the reason I mention that again is because I don't know that that necessarily gains us anything in terms of the fuel tank condition, i.e. the construct of it, rust and material and debris. Because for example, they could say, well, if you bought an 81, you can do it, but it has to be done by 85. Or maybe it's same year or something like that. But we're just gonna have to find out, you know, one way or the other. Stopped raining finally. What is in my head? What are you? Okay. Another really neat log or tree, hand cut right above me. Some neat stuff out here. Pretty cool front clip laying up there. It's always fun finding stuff in barns, old sheds. See a lot of signs, gas pumps, stoves, bottles, toys. Through the years, I see a bunch of old tools laying over there. I don't want to dig though, but always makes it fun and interesting. I think 5.5 gallons is going to have to be good enough. We don't want to waste if it's not going to work. Line could be plugged or something like that. I don't have a compressor. Normally I would just blow backwards. So we could try our mouth. Doubtful that's going to work. Ooh, he might have a compressor downstairs. And there are some big holes in this floor. We could just run the line right up through the floor. Okay. Now let's rehook the pump back up. Hindsight being 10, 12. Guy should have just left this hooked up, but I didn't know what we was doing. You know, we're kind of just taking it as she goes. Okay. Get this rotten, crispy fuel line back on. Maybe. It's got some sort of wire covering on it for some reason. Definitely doesn't work as heat shield. Okay. There we go. Clampulating, engaged. Now I'm going to have to try to keep this running. This is going to be the tricky part without a lone wolf. Got to try to start this, sprint back out here, and then bottle feed it unless I try to take the cover off and fill the bowls. That could work as long as the idle circuit is open and clear and free. Okay. Oh, it's got security screws on it. Wow, that looks pretty clean. I'll show you. I'm pleasantly surprised. Move all these mouse droppings. There we go. It's all still movulating. That's these 80s cars kind of sit up pretty good. It's seeming like. So if you gander in here, that don't look that bad. Everything's seeming to move. So I'm gonna try to dump some fuel in there, fill the bowl up a little bit, and maybe that'll help it run for at least, a minute, where I could hobble around here, and then we'll bottle feed it until hopefully the fuel pump starts pumping again and we get some fresh fuel into this thing. Just start pouring it all over. Should eventually find its way into something. Let's see. Right there. She's full. Okay. And we will just set these over here for now. Gotta have this on the ready. Okay, we'll set it right next to the battery. Maybe that'll arc, send the whole thing up. Okay, I'm just gonna crank it, see if it'll just pull fuel through that idle circuit. Doubtful, very, but that's just, we gotta start figuring out what we got. And if not, I'll prime it. Okay, come on. Maybe, yep. Windshield wipers started to take off. Come on, build oil pressure. Build oil pressure. Oh boy, that doesn't sound good. Build oil pressure, please. Ooh. I don't want to run it much longer if that doesn't change. Whew. Smoking, it must be pulling fuel. No, it is not. That answers my question. Is that the heater motor? It's a wiper motor. Trying to do something. We'll just unplug that. Boy, it was not wanting to build oil pressure. Let's fill it again. That seems to be easier than trying to bottle feed it. Smoking good, but that's to be expected. Okay, let's go again. Come on, oil pressure. It must not be pumping fuel. Oh, we got a blinker on. Huh. Water pump's pumping. I can hear that. Whew. It does not want to take up fuel. But the good news is the right blinker works. Let's not give up yet, because that is going to be a process and a half. Or we could potentially put a clicky clacky in. Remedy that. Okay, blinker edge down. Park light is on. Hey, 91,701 miles. It's saying stuff now. It's coming around. Look at that. Fuel is still not doing nothing. It's above 37 on the clock. Huh. And it is saying the brake is on. There, I can fix that. Boy, it is smoking something fierce. I almost just said we might actually be pulling fuel. Just decades of oil and stuff burning off the manifolds here. Okay, I'm gonna try to prime that fuel pump. And how I'm gonna do that is undo the line. I'll get some carb cleaner with a straw and I'm gonna spray back down into the pump, get that diaphragm lubricated and soaked up, and it's probably just super crisp and crunchy right now, and maybe that'll work. I think I'm gonna take this fitting if I can. Now, I was told this was painted, and it looks like it is, or was. So this thing should clean up pretty snazzy. Boy, that is really on there. I don't even think this kit's got a vice grip in it. What's going on around here? If you ain't got scripts on your hips, you're in trouble. Yeah, I'm just thoroughly stripping that. That's pretty good. Where else can I? Probably gonna have to take it off down here at the filter again. Look at all the old panel doors. Bunch of them. Very cool. Okay, so I've got the filter off, and then this is what would run up into this spaceship. So I'm just going to backfill this until we fill that pump up, and then let that sit for a minute. And hopefully that rejuvenates. Okay. Juicing fuel pump. Probably not, can't fit it in here. Oh. I can't tell if I'm even getting anything in there. Yeah, I can see air bubbles working up. All right, we'll let that sit for a minute. If I can get it pulling fuel, then we need to change on the Earl here pretty soon. I heard the water pump pumping, or when it shut off, I could hear it back flushing or moving or whatever, dicing, slicing. So we're in pretty good shape. It runs. I know what it's going to come down to, brakes. Would be a miracle if these worked. Whenever we do them, seems like 10 years plus, the rubber lines are always an issue and are collapsed, and I'm sure that's probably going to be the case on this one as well. We might try to drag it out of the barn before we start doing that though, because there's not a lot of room in here. Open this window. Well, I'm back. We let that sit for a while. And again, there's an inlet valve and an outlet valve that get dried up, and then a diaphragm that runs on a spring and a lever. And that's actually what pumps the fuel. Well, when they get dried or hard, they don't pump. So I'd say 88.9637 repeating percent of the time, this works for me. Got her primed up again. Let's hit the key. We know it'll sit and run for a few seconds, but we want it pulling fuel from the tank. Yeah. Okay. Gauges are still working. Oh, there's that clanking. Oh, it's starting to go away, kind of. There, it quieted down. I bet it was a stuck lifter. Yeah, it's a lot quieter. So it's building oil pressure. A lifter was just stuck in there. Now we gotta wait here a minute. Oh, there's that lifter. There it is again. Comes and goes. Sounds like it's on the drinker side. I'm gonna go ahead and call it. We are pulling fuel from the fuel tank. This old Chrysler, 2 decades, sitting here idling. Okay, I got 5 eggs on my face. I'm gonna take it back. I get 2 take backsies. It did not work. Well, that's too bad. Also, notice how that gallop is all but disappeared already? Let's fill her up again. Oh, I thought we had it. Oh. I wonder if that needle needs adjusted. That's a croissant wrench. Okay. Adjusting. Adjusting things. Alien valve, don't be stuck or something. Adjusting this. Trying to get it to run out of fuel. Well, I think I would have, I was just going to say, I think I would have quit by now if it was just running off the bowl. Oh, mopar starters. Oil light started working, and it did go off. Uh-oh, we're out of make it run juice. So I think here's what a guy's gonna do. It's running, it's sounding better. Haven't tested transmission or brakes yet. I gotta get this thing running off of a tank first. I gotta run back to town. I'm gonna get a little clicky clacky, and we're gonna use that in various different ways for testing and or temporarily permanent fuel pumpage. C, let's hook it up to the fuel tank and see if we could pump fuel from the fuel tank with that. 2, we can pump fuel into the mechanical pump and see if that then lifts it and pushes it into the fuel, make it happener. And why, if we just have to plug the 2 together and keep running it on that, then so be it. Okay, so I need a fuel pump. I need a bunch of red wire, some fuel line, some clamps. I think I'll get a bite to eat quick while I'm in the town. Haven't eaten since I flew in yesterday night, late, this morning, technically, I think. And then we'll be back on this thing. I'm gonna unplug it so I don't burn this barn down. I mean, if the light's on fire, push the car outside, let it go. Fixed, but not the barn. Wha! Ciao, engine lovers. It means we're back. I'm stepping on glass. Okay. Found us a clicky clacky. 4 to 7 PS of the eyes. Should work pretty good. Looks like basically a copy of the Edelbroken rig. So that'll be, sure, whatever. Ooh, I forgot to get digital tape. Oh, well, we'll just arc it out on stuff. this. I think the first step is we'll try to pull fuel from the tank. Make sure that that's not blocked up. And then we'll continue testing the pump. We're gonna lose light here pretty soon, so I'm trying to hustle. Hustling and bustling. Making it so. So we got the Clicky clacky here. That runs down to the feed line from the fuel tank. We've got one color wire, of course, because, well, it's cheaper, and then also you want to make sure the next guy that comes along is really confused as to what in the devil is going on. Okay. Of course, I grabbed the most worthless wire tool on the shelf. Okay. These even strip wire? No. The answer is no, they don't. So what I'm going to do here is wire this right over to the battery. And we're going to hang these wires next to the fuel here. And see if it'll pull. And we're going to dump that into one of our jugs. I got 2 of them. So we're not wasting any gas. We could just dump that right back in. And we'll use ground as a trigger, and I should be able to do that over there somewhere. Okay. So now, if I ground this out, whoop. Forgot I discoed this puppy. Battery, come to life. Okay, there's the pump. So now I'll put just enough hose to get down into a bucket. I always buy this in the spool because whatever I don't use here, guarantee we'll use it on the next one or in the shop. There we go. Excuse me. Okay. Trying to hustle here. We got dark is coming in, and we got looks like a hairdresser room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 light bulbs directly above us. That's it. Okay. Pump's making noise. No fuel. That could be our issue. Come on, man. Okay, these like to be primed just the same. This one doesn't have a straw. Not helping me. That is not helping me. Is this going to help? Come on now. Well, this could be our whole issue. And these are generally pusher pumps, not puller pumps. This is the extreme wrong use. But none of and the less. Okay, got a leak down here I can see. That needs fixed. Tightening, tightening. I believe that is plug solid. Shoot. That's going to be our issue. Yep. Okay. Now we know. That's what we're saying. So, let's do some different engine nerding. And let's put this on the inlet to the pump. Just threw my hose clamp on the ground. Why'd you do that? Well, here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to put the pump right before the mechanical pump and run a hose out to a jug. I'll use the pump to prime the system, and then we'll see if the mechanical fuel pump works, and then we can decide what we're going to do with the line. Back to the tank, it's probably the sending unit in the tank. They sit all those years, and the pickup tube just gets plugged full of varnish and everything else, and it's a big project. You got to drop the tank. The way this car is situated, we'd have to basically pull it out of here to even have a shot at getting underneath the thing. Wow. Reminds me of the T-Rex song, Bang the Gong. This one is going to come up here. Perfect. Get all this caught in the belts, hopefully. Now, I need hand me the gas there. Thanks. All right, let me take the gas. Drop that in there. Now we prime it. We got primage. Let's try to fire it up again. And we will see if the mechanical pump can at least pump. Yeah. Okay. Should be able to come over here and feel this hose. I don't feel it pulsing. Get my hand dangerously close to the fan. It's weak. Might work, but it's weak. Let's let it get some work down. Ooh, while we're running this, I'm going to open the valve cover, and where did I put it? I wish we had some Berryman, but this particular store I'm going to doesn't. We got Seafoam. More than twice as much as Berryman, but it's probably the same thing. Anyway, I'm going to dump this right into the crankcase. Yes, the oil. We're only going to be idling this. And this should help free up sticky rings. That sticky lifter that keeps coming and going. And we know we're going to be changing the oil anyway. See how it just revved up? The rings ain't ringing. It's all right, we'll get there. Is it pumping now? Well, by golly. Gotta be, right? That's the longest it's ran in a row. Longest it's ran in one time. So, mechanical fuel pump works. That's great. Fuel tank pickup is plugged. Not so great. That's going to be quite a bit of work. So now what do we do? I don't think it's even worth changing oil or doing anything like that yet until we can get this run off the tank. I think that's our next big project here. So I need to figure out if I want to jack this up back there, try to crawl underneath. Doesn't look likely. Maybe I could try to drive this forward. It is on some flats, but if I could even get, this one's almost flat. Drinker rear is 50%. Captain's front is down. Captain's rear is 50%. But if we can get this forward, 4 feet, call it, then a guy might be able to work himself under here and figure out this tank situation. But fuel pump works. Shouldn't be doing that with that seafoam in there. Whoops. We're just making sure to knock that lifter loose. I'm gonna run for a minute. We got a little bit of fuel left. See if this thermostat opens. Accelerator pump must be working. That's a miracle. Miracle number 6. Wow, this is a terrible idea. But whilst it's running, we have a little bit of gasoline. I'm going to try to pin this in like that. Let's test the transmission. And by test, I mean, let's try to force it forward. This might be our golden opportunity, as fishermen would say. Maybe it's universal. I'm not sure. Okay, transmission. Were you actually rebuilt in 2002? Show us. Oh wow, it started smoking terribly bad all of a sudden. I don't know if that's fire smell or what that is. Let's ignore it for now. Okay. Neutral, drive. We got drivage. Now, can a guy just gently come on. Come on. It's going. It's going. Easy. Yes. Yeah, I think we're slipping transmission. Definitely don't think we're spinning. No, we are not spinning. Okay, slipping transmission. What do you do? Well, you put it first. Of course. Okay, come on. Ha 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 ha! Okay. It's the first time this car has moved in 21 years under its own power. Let's investigate this fire a little closer. Oh wow, it's abrupt. What do we got? What are you trying to tell me? Thermostat hasn't opened. Oh, we're about to run out of fuel. Wow. Gas hogalizer, 600. Gauges, still not doing nothing useful. Why are you here? Whew. Okay. Success. Runs. We have drive. Should have probably tried reverse. No, because of the wall. Well, anyway, try that down the route. I'm going to step outside because quite frankly, I'm getting woozy. When I come back, let's see if we can get the back end of the car up, figure out what kind of fun we're in for figuring out this fuel. And I might step downstairs, see if they got an air compressor line we can borrow with a, because maybe we could just force the clog out and then just suck it up little by little down the road back home. There's an idea. Well, went downstairs and Steve let me borrow this pancake compressor. We've got an air blower nozzle, which we need, and also a tire air upper thing. And then we just toss this cord through the hole in the floor, and he's got it plugged in down there. So we'll fire this up, and I'm gonna go ahead and see if all the tires will take more wind. This one obviously is slightly concerned. It might need a patch. The other ones have air in them, but we're gonna go ahead and air them up because I can get a jack underneath of them easier. And I also borrowed a broom. I'll come back here and sweep up this area because I don't have very many going to town shirts with me. And see if I get all the nails and glass and stuff like that out because we're probably going to be laying under there. Okay. Place your bets. Oh. Oh, she's taking wind. Oh, the belt's coming out. Oh, this is nice and dangerous. Keep going. Maybe if I get my face down here, it'll be better. Old BFGs. I mean, they're almost as good as Cooper Cabras. These wheels are pretty cool. ARE. Definite late 90s, early 2000s kind of look. Okay, keep on moving. Tire wind project updates. This one is about to explode. The more air I put in it, the more it starts separating. But there's wind in it. Captain side rear is good. This side's not too bad either. And this guy, the valve stem is messed up. It was that's equal parts going in and coming out. A lot of authentic barn dust on this. Thinking about scooping this into buckets, putting it on Evil Bay, and you could sprinkle it on your project, and then it's worth 15% more. Got this swept up pretty good. In case we got to get under there. These are those nails and such I was talking about. Look at that neat old gas can. But I got an idea first before we jump the gun here. So what a guy's going to do is hook this guy, the electrical tape nozzle 400, up to the air compressor and try to back to the tank. One of two things, well, three really. One, we blow 17 holes in the line to the back because the pressure is going to exceed the limitations of the current rusty fuel line going to the rear without dislodging the constriction. Two, whatever's lodged in it goes away. We won. Three, nothing. Absolutely nothing happens, but this seems like a good way to procrastinate and also easier than 4.5 hours rolling around on a barn floor trying to get a fuel tank out and fix a sending unit that I don't have a replacement for. Okay. Get this Sterling Marlin off here. Yep. Hook up the Bobby Labonte. It's not a lot of wind, but let's see what happens. Okay? Cross your toes. Oh, there it went. It just popped. I heard like a little bit of air and then it stopped. I can hear it bubbling. Okay, it doesn't mean we're in the clear yet. Let's go check it out. Hear that noise? Sounds like a toilet bowl after you unclog it. Yeah, I said it. It's what I had in my mind, okay? See? It's just aerated. Whoa, that sounds like too much. Turn the water off on the valve. It's coming up. And now the question is it going to come this way? I have to re-invert the operations again and try to go this way instead of that way without the thing and the line that was running out of the jug that's now empty up to the fuel capacitor. Okay, you see this dance we're making? Now we're back to the line that we were just blowing through into the pump, which goes into the tank. Was really hoping to get fuel. Oh, maybe. Tone changed. I hear gurgling in the back. Let's lift this up so we can hear. Nothing. Come on, pump. Do what you're not designed to do. Alright, I might have to prime it by succulizing on it. This is my favorite after lunch. I want to wash her down with a little bit of varnished gas when possible. It's not flowing like I thought it would. That's a different noise. Come on. Okay, got an idea. I'm gonna go put the cap on tight. I'm gonna fill the tank full of air, then run the pump. And the pressurized tank should hopefully push. Merely alert, maybe 23. Okay. Got bubbles and all that stuff in the back. Come on. Boy, she does not want to pull. You say. I say it back. Well, we're on a temp 946.4 with the fuel tank. Now, normally I just abandon it by now and put a jug in the seat, but not with 950 miles. It's just, that would be a lot of stopping. So now I was able to get a little bit of fuel sucked out with the old wind bags. And I've got all that plugged back with the mechanical fuel pump now. So we're gonna fire it up again and see if that guy can somehow pull fuel. Park. Uh-oh. Huh, power steering works. Fingers and toe bones crossed. Can't see nothing. We're losing light quick. Could try to pressurize the tank too, but I don't know if I can. We'll try. I'm gonna run the hose back there. Try to force air in the fuel tank this way. I can't get a good seal. Come on, buddy. I just want to get you back on the road. We can get you to a home. Someone can love you. Clean you up again. All right? I don't know. Unless I'm hoping too hard. This might be the longest it's gone. Well, let's put that nail down. Well, by golly. I think old Frank Sinatra would be mighty proud right about now. It is absolutely. This time, I know. Last time I jumped the hurdle with a gun. But listen, there is no way this is running off the fuel in the bowl. She's pulling from the tank. So I'm gonna go outside, get some fresh air, let this thing just cook, seat. It's gotta get the webs blown out of it. The ring's gotta come around. I'm hearing that lifter not be bad as oftener. There it was again, ignore that. Listen, just give it, there it is again. Give it some time. But that was, I know we put a lot of time into getting fuel delivery, but that was significantly better than dropping that fuel tank back there. Now we got to just hope that it doesn't replug on the road, because that would be a nightmare. Okay. That was a good talk, I thought. All right. Hey, I pulled the lights on. They work. And it must be charging. I don't have a digital voltage meter, but I heard the charger whirler bog deep. So that must be working. Doors flipped up. Let's see what we got back here on the old pull me over panel. Yeah. Left and the right. Notice something else here. This is all hand painted. That Imperial. But check this out. This is really cool. We got flamage. Woo! That's gonna look cool. Can't wait to see this thing clean. Well, she's been running for quite some time now. Let's go ahead and check the blood stick on the shift machine again, now that it's pumping. And of course, did I buy any when I went to town? No, that is correct. Empty. It needs juice. All right, let's shut it down. I don't want to burn that thing up. Was allegedly rebuilt. We all have a receipt. Well, it's rebuilt. Okay. Turn the lights off. Okay, gonna let this puppy cool down. I think it is time to change on the Earl. We're gonna fill up the transmission. We're gonna run through the gears a bunch of times and check that out. Well, then I don't think the thermostat, oh, it did open. Good, okay. Thermostat works, great. And then we'll basically say engine good enough. I don't feel like putting $180 into cap, rotor, lightning hoses, sparkulators. It works, it's running. Let's leave it, okay? Get some fresh dinosaur juice in it though. Top the trans off. If that's shifting great, drive reverse. Then we can start worrying about brakes. And it is something to worry about because they are not going to work. Perfect. All right, we're gonna see if we can utilize what little bit of daylight we got left. Let's see, how am I gonna do this? This is gonna be interesting. This way, I guess. Oh. Okay. There's something under here that'll eventually stop bending. It looks flexible, but maybe not so bendy. Maybe. All right, let's see if we can get her up in the air here. Something that I've been avoiding, but thinking about in the back of my head, is the wheels have locks. And if that lock isn't in the glove box, we're up a creek with 2 tree sticks. You know what I mean? Oh. Oh. Bring it down. Bring it down there. We're about ready to slip off. It came back on the lumber. There we go. Get this old oil out and that sea foam. Get some fresh stuff in here. Okay, a few updates for you fellers and fellettes. Oil is fully drained. Drain plug's back in. Got the old oil filtre out. Threw in a Napa Gold. Made in America. Man and Hamill. You guys know the deal, that's just a Wix. Couldn't get an actual Wix out here, but I wanted to show you guys this. This is really cool. The previous mechanic wrote the date on here. 3/22/02. All be dipped. This is something I've harped on my whole life. We would have been guessing. Had no idea when the oil was changed. Now we know. I'm guessing that must have been the shop. This is an old Lee filtre. But that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and top off the Earl. Another update, as I was struggling to get up, you can see I swept the entire floor with my back. I accidentally hit the tire over here. All B. So then I thought, well, wait a minute. What have we got going on over here? Nope. Locked up tighter than Alcatraz. So there's our start of our brake issues. But anyway, let's get some Earl put back in this thing. You know, these lean burn 318s require a specific oil. Nope, that's not true at all. Let's get the cheapest. A heavy-duty diesel oil, the old T4. It's got all the dinosaurs and vitamins. We'll roll this in. They actually had the single quart, so I didn't have to get something fancy with a flag or big words on it. Of course, Mopar life, you can't fill the filter all the way up before you put that on. Smart. Whoa. Is that all going in somewhere? Hope so. There we go. I think we can set this back down on the pause and check the go forward, go backwards machine. Wonder if I shouldn't attempt to get the front two tires off and swapped while they're dangling right away in the morning or something. Because that's going to be a dance. Could have missed the pain, but I'd have missed that dance. 14 years later, I got the Finalizing installed. Okay. We're going to do a dance here. Half a quart of this. And then we're going to throw some, not clutches this time because it's rebuilt, but brand new seals and everything. Lubricate some valves and whatnot with the old transmission in a bottle. And I'm going to try to put about half in each one of these quarts, and then we'll shake it up so it goes down the yap easier. It's not like maple syrup. I don't know. Sure. Okay. We'll do this. A little bit of that. Oh, backsplash. See how much easier that goes down? Same thing again. All right, let's fire this bad boy up again. Let it chew on all the juices. And now that it's kind of level on the jack, we'll test the shift machine that away. Oh. There we go. That ain't bad. Make sure the oil light went off, you know, the old dummy light. Yep, don't see it. Okay, well, that's good. Is the water pump hanging in there? So far, I got my hip bones crossed on that too. And the gaskets for the head. All right, well, let's let it just be for a minute. It's already sounding better. We can run a bunch of barium through the tank if we're lucky enough to get this on the road on the way home, and it'll just be cleaning and tuning and all that stuff as we go. Did I lose one? Can't believe it. Very unexpected. Nope. Back with the flat! Hitting the sacks and something with that heart attack! Okay. The old lean burn. Probably the straw that broke the cow's back in Chrysler's demise was the lean burn, which I think started in 76 or 75. Wonder if the AC works. Wouldn't that be something? Anyway, we'll redo. Oh yeah, shift machine. I mean, how much money did they save by hiding the dipstick way down there? Why not make it 6 feet longer so it gets to the top? For Pete's sake. Let's hide that so consumers can't check fluids. Might have the maple syrup syndrome going on. It ain't getting down the stick. Just a tickle over full, i.e. perfect. I think we're good. We had it in the water heater, got it in the engine, put some in the shift machine. We'll probably pretend we checked the rear, right? Okay. In here digging around. We got a lot of buttons and stuff to go through. I just want to test the blower works. Hot. We'll come back and test all this stuff later. I'm looking for the lock, key to the tire lock thing. Oh boy, look at all the paperwork. Alright, we're gonna have to go through, it looks like quite a bit. We'll go through all this eventually. Leave that out. That must be for the roof because of the headliner, I'm guessing, in the back. No way. Is it? Yes! This is the tool right here to get those center caps off. Now we don't have to destroy those. That is excellent news. I think I can shut this down now. Pull the key out. Yeah, without this guy, I was gonna have to probably drill these out. And I didn't want to ruin these wheels. The wheels look great. Them 18s? No, but I keep them clean. They're 15s, okay? So we're just gonna probably take the front two with me tonight because you know, the jack stands up, and then we could probably just start right in on brakes tomorrow, and then we'll have good tires mounted after that. These aren't going well. You could probably get another 200 miles, you know, but yeah, we'll just get it done. Those came right off both sides. All right. Might have to let the car down to get the other side because the wheel spins. Get out of there. Wheels look brand new on the inside. I guess that would make sense, but. What was the point of that? Oh, just to black the wheel out for looks. One down, 46 to go. Well, I got both them tires and wheels loaded up in the rental. Guy was just doing the digital mail with Tony Angelo, and it turns out his shop is like 45 minutes from here or something like that. We're losing daylight quick, right on the cusp. I think I'm gonna shut it down for tonight. I'm gonna head over to Tony's early in the morning, use his dumpster for some of this trash, and more importantly, use his tire machine so I can mount up some tires, bring them back. And then tomorrow we dig in the brakes because we already know this is locked up. It's the caliper, the soft rubber lines. There's really no point in even hitting the pedal. Until we get that fixed, then we can move on to the master cylinder, and you know the dance. But a solid first day, 21 years, it runs, it moved under its own power. We've got some very minor issues resolved and fixed. And the best part is, we don't have a ton of money into this thing right now. It's just basic maintenance stuff. But anyway, that's gonna do it for tonight. Unhook this guy. Uh-oh, that didn't sound good. See you guys in the morning. Good morning. Yeah, pretend I just opened that. Actually, Steve, previous owner, came up last night before I departed and had a good idea. He says, Derek, wasn't a guy and a guy make sure this door opens before I leave? And I am glad he did. One of the springs is broke, the other one isn't wound up. And that door weighs as much as 6 Isuzu pickups. We did get it up and wedged in here. Otherwise, it would have looked like Fast and the Furious 22nd. The Imperial jumping through it. Overdid her yesterday with my mobility. And the old hoof hinge is stiffer than a triple on the rocks. But I'm under a regimen of Tylenol, ibuprofen, icy hot, and bobble pops, allegedly. Let's see what we can get done today. We got to jump right into brakes on the Imperial. Stopped this morning, got some wheel bearing grease and a fire extinguisher. Yesterday, we got it running. It moves kinda. Under heavy throttle, I knew something was going on other than the flat. We got it jacked up. The captain side front is locked up. Calipers either frozen or the rubber lines are constricted. You guys know the deal. So we're just gonna dig right in. I do have a couple of those parts here I shipped ahead of time. So I'm gonna open those boxes, make sure they're right, not to a Ford pickup. And then we just need to dig into this thing quickly. All right, parts really stretched on the shoestring here. These are, I don't know, they're not even a brand. I got some Chinese bearings. That's how you know they're good. This one hose is, whatever this is, specialty. This one, True Torque. I don't know, this is from the 80s. But it's probably better than what we got. Maybe. No, looks the same. Okay. SKF seals, so those will be hard as a rock right out of the box. And some new Guion calipers. Hopefully these are correct. They look correctish. Oh good, they do come with a bolt and crush washers, because I just noticed these do not. Got some brake clean, some gloves, some wheel grease this morning, like I said. We're even gonna put some lubricant on these, because I might be driving this thing around, let's be honest. Okay, so here's the plan. Don't have one, but here's what's next. I'm gonna go ahead and take off that rubber line if I can. Probably not. If we're in danger of snapping that line, the metal one, we're gonna have to try to leave the rubber line intact and do the caliper and rotor and bearings at a minimum. Sometimes a guy doesn't fuss with doing inner and outer wheel bearings and the seal and all of that, especially if it's only a couple 100 miles. Guy could even grind through that if he had to. But if I'm doing 950 plus, which what this trip is, we're gonna have to do something with the bearings. At minimum, these gotta come out, we gotta clean them, repack them. If we lost a spindle at 2 a.m. and BFE, Kentucky or something, we're gonna have a bad night and morning, and maybe the next morning. So while we're doing the brakes, let's just get the bearings done, do the whole shebang, and then we'll know the front of this vehicle is gonna be great. And then after we start trying to bleed the vehicle, we're gonna learn that the brake master's bad, and then that's later today. Well, hey, great news. The front brakes are done. Well, we did more than that. Inner and outer wheel bearings, wheel seals. We got new rotors, the dinner plate brakes, calipers, and pads. But we were once again struck by Chrysler engineering. I don't know where the box went. Here it is. Had two hoses. Well, one wasn't Chrysler's fault. The True Builts or whatever, the threads were crossed in it right out of the box. Then I thought, no big deal. I'll just switch them around because when you purchase these, they say for right or left. Wrong. Chrysler drilled these off center. It is the same exact hose. But for whatever reason, they felt like they had to off center this, so you had to get it right and you had to get it left. Well, why is that a big deal, Derek? It's just wonky. It's weird when you go back and think. There were only 10,981 1981 to 1983 Chrysler Imperials made. They were having financial troubles, big ones. They were on the verge of going out of business. Why would they not want to simplify that and have the same hose for both sides? It's less tooling, less manufacturing costs, less shelving, and so on. And I don't know how much I'm speculating. Say that's $3 a piece. That's $32,943 right there for a simple brake hose. Pretty bizarre. Anyway, we got to get the radial road bouncers figured out now. I wasn't able to meet up with Tony late last night or this morning. He was actually out of town, but he just digital messaged me. He's back. So let me clean up a little bit. I think I'm going to borrow his dumpster. We'll throw the fronts in, go get those on so we can get that on, and then we'll figure out the rear a little bit later. But we are getting absolutely very close to trying to bleed the brakes and actually pull this thing out of the barn. And then we've got, 11 decajillion miles in states to go. That's okay. Well, guys got the bleeders cracked. Well, bleeder, doing this side first. Trying to bleed on the brakes. Also, got two tires mounted up. I know. They should be Cooper Cabras. It's what I could get. We'll try to fix it later. What are these? Kenneth's Touring. Or wait, Connecticut's Tour package? I don't know. It was the cheapest tire I could buy. These are 225 70/15, I believe. A little bit wider than the other ones. These wheels are actually pretty wide. I thought this tire would look a little bit better. As soon as I get done gravity bleeding the front, we'll stick these on. And then I think I'm ready to clean the glass. And I haven't got the backs mounted yet, obviously. But I'm thinking we should test the front, drive it forward and backwards, maybe even out of the barn. Set it. Okay. And make sure this thing is going to move under its own power. I got to start wrapping things up because we've got a very, very long drive and we're running out of time. Close this one for now. And then we'll move over, open this one. Gravity bleeding works great. You just got to have a lot of patience. So this is basically how I rely on bleeding brakes when I'm by myself like this, is when I put new calipers on or lines or anything like that, I'll fill the master cylinder. Then I'll pump the pedal like crazy because what I'm doing is I'm filling up the jugs in the calipers again. And then I'll come outside and I'll crack each one, get some air out. And I'll do that a couple times until I'm fairly confident we've got quite a bit of juice in the caliper. Then all I do is crack them one at a time, starting closest to the master cylinder. Let it drip like this. It's going to naturally force all the air out of it. We'll close them up and these will be good to go. I've got some spare parts, a couple things that I got just in case, like lightning hoses and sparkulators. I threw those in the trunk. I've got belts. I've got a couple jugs of ice cube juice. All that's loaded up there. As soon as I get the fronts on, we'll try to drive this back and forth, see what happens, start cleaning up glass. And we never really do test drives. It just is what it is, but Maybe we'll try to drive this out of the barn and try to stop it going downhill. Right outside of this Dutch Bank barn is a, right down into the hillside. So if I can shut her down there, I'm gonna feel pretty good about it. Rear brakes, you ask? Yeah? Yep. Yeah, okay. Oh, I should grab my four-way before I hobble down there. Feel like a billy goat. Just been climbing over stuff for days now. And doing a lot of right leg pistols. Phew. Okay. Is this what flavor? Must be. It's got a dual flavor bolt pattern on it. But we're gonna have to put these Kendas on something else, get some white letters on here, stat. I ain't liking it. I ain't liking it one bit. The front end damage on this, Steve said he was racing to get to take his SCTs, SATs, STIs, scubas, school things. And I don't know, he got a little hot somewhere, sometime, and schmuckered up the front a little bit. As college kids do. Or was that high school? I don't know. Words that have to do with learning and education. Okay. These are definitely a little taller. The tire we took off wasn't touching. That'll give us more speed down the highway. Nope, it's gonna barely run anyway. Huh, okay. Well, the time is finally here. Let's see if this Imperial will fire up again today. And we're gonna drive this thing outside. The first time it's moved outside under its own power in over 2 decades and seen sunlight. This is gonna be awesome. Come on. Well, and we hope the brakes work. Door buzzerage. Started-ish. Okay, drive, brake check. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's got brakes. Okay, I measured the height of the door with the bedpost. Sunroof's coming in handy. Oh, P dipped. Tons of brake. There we go. Let's go for a cruise. Or a burn. Puffing white, smoking that bad gas out still. Here's that sticker. Nice. First time outside in many, many, many years. Now you can see that pinstriping better. And there's the barn it came out of. Ha. Let's go for a little rip. Seems like the brake things are going to break. So now we're looking for gears. We need highway gear. for this to work out in our favor. Can't see nothing. Boy. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Used to my truck rental. Goes right up that. Okay, first. Still first. Second. I like it. Give me high gear. She's excited. Give me high gear. Still give me it. I'll take it. Send it to me. Pass it over. Give me that. Bring it back. Okay, it did not shift in the third, but I don't know if I got enough speed. Is that the tire? Some weird wobbles. Oh, no trespassing. We gotta turn around. Speedometer's working. Still no fuel gauge, which is very disappointing. We like those on these longer trips. I can't. All I see is a Pimp Daddy sticker. None of the center console stuff works. Power steering seems to be working. I should probably clean these side windows too. First. It's hard to hear, it's so quiet. Watch out, puppy. I don't think I'm getting... Okay, there's second. Shift. Third gear. Okay, 40 miles an hour. Okay, we got all the gears. We got some pretty good brakes. We got a moon... Ooh, speaking of moonroof. No way. Sunroof works. This might be a mighty fine parts runner, you know what I mean? Yep, how's it going, Barb? It's going for a rip. Sweet. Glove box is broken now. Well, let's get back to the barn before we get too confident in these rear tires. And I think we're, you know, this is it. Here we are. This is probably as good as we're gonna get for almost 1,000-mile trip home. Okay. The transmission was the biggest surprise out of all of this. The previous owner didn't even mention that, I'm certain. So that was nice. And hopefully that Lucas will bring all the seals and valves around. It seems to be shifted fine. Third, there it is. There is some dirt on the car and in it. It's in my pupils. That's all right. That's all right. Well, the guy did dig through this, and I can't show you it all because there are a lot of names in here. But there's a bunch of road maps. We got the radio system, the Sony from '95. There's tires, a battery in the mid-90s. There's a thermostat in the mid-90s. Some oil changes, things like that. I was hoping there'd be some paperwork on the carb swap, but there isn't. But nonetheless, I always do everything I can to keep the paperwork with the vehicle. All too often they get separated, and that's a crying shame. Now it seems weird. I got the car pulled in and it just doesn't feel right, but that's basically going to do it for tonight. I'm going to bust these rear tires off, throw them in the rental. I've got to mount those tonight. How am I going to do that, actually? Because then I'll have an Uber. I'll have to bring them back up here, I guess. And then drop the truck off at the airport, get an Uber back. Oh, I guess that'd be in the morning. I'm so confused. Okay, I'll mount the tires tonight. Go to the motel, drop the tires off here, then go to the airport and drop the truck off, then get an Uber back here, and then we're on the road at that point. Okay, see you in the morning over a cup of Joe. Well, good morning. Checking out the cheapest motel I can find in the area. This Best Western Plus is more like a Worst Western Negative. Don't want to dog on it too much. There's a long list. We get stuck in the elevator. It was slightly inconvenient for the old schedule. So we're running behind. Let's make a couple stops and get this Imperial back on the road. First stop this morning, we gotta go and get some Rain X. There's rain in the forecast and the wipers ain't wiping, believe it or not, on the Imperial. Second stop, we're gonna have to get some coffee. I went to get some Motel coffee and someone had their own griddle from Walmart burning sausage in the main lobby, and it was terrible. I was actually kind of frightened after getting off the stuck elevator that the sprinkler system might go off. So we just exited. And then the third stop is gonna go back through that line again and get another coffee. Then we gotta go back to where the Imperial is, drop these tires off the barn. And then Tony's actually gonna meet me there at the Enterprise to give me a ride back. Save me some money and get to chop it up with him a little bit. Oh, that's a stop sign. Yep, here I am. Okay, let's go. So a lot of dinking around this morning, and then we can finally start peeling back some miles. But don't worry, we've drove it like probably 0.7 miles and it went swimmingly well. Swung over to the Napa there. Never seen this Armor All stuff. They didn't have traditional Rain X, but it says water repelling technology. So I guess that's what we're gonna go with. Now I'm gonna drop my hoodie, kind of a fun Easter egg hunt, right back here. I'll fold it up a little bit, next to this apple juice jug. Well, for Pete's sake, is that actually apple juice? It's awfully full. What I'm gonna do here is actually post that up on the old Face Space and Insta letter as kind of a fun little hunt. I'll do some, maybe a car wash across from a Napa in the general vicinity, and someone can run over and grab that thing, and then they can tag me when they find it. If you don't follow us on the Face Space or the Insta letter, give it a shot. I know some of you don't do that, I get it, but if you're on there, go look us up, Bicycle Garage. We do a lot of fun stuff. There's a lot of daily posts. You guys keep tabs on a feller and kind of see what's coming next and where I'm going and events. I don't know, there's things on there. Okay, all right, let's start heading back to the barn. Well, the Imperial is still here. It did not burn down. I left the sunroof open yesterday. Probably got some birds in there. Anywho's, gonna get these rear tires knocked on, and then gotta throw a couple more things in the car. My rags, my jack, a couple different accoutrements. My suitcase somewhere, the back seat's massive. Try to get it back there maybe. And then we can back this thing out. Well, cold start this morning. Nice. Wish the fuel gauge worked, but beggars can't be losers. Alright, let's see if we can back this thing out of here so I get the doors open wide enough to get the jack and stuff in. Oh, come on. There we go. Easy. Watch the mirrors you can't see. Did I just lose a tire? Wouldn't that be my luck? Okay. Oh, it's kind of relaxing now. We're, at 7 million degrees up. I could take a nap. No, it's too early for that. Okay. Coming down a little bit. Okay. Doing good. There's a tree stump back here somewhere. There. I'm gonna let this thing run a little bit. Well, here's where it's at. 21, 22 years. Some old cans of paint or something. Just going around picking up my stuff. Got this window closed again. Trying to make sure I don't forget anything. Pack the car in as tight as I can get it. Well, we're back in the office. Big thanks to Tony, let me use his tire machine and giving me a ride and everything like that. And thanks to Steve for storing this thing in his barn after I bought it for 75 years. And his hospitality and using the air compressor and cords and electricity and just some awesome people, man. The car community is excellent. Okay, let's fire this thing up. It should be about 10 gallons of fuel in this thing, so I think, look at that. I think we're just gonna try to find the nearest highway. I can't believe this seat still works. And start heading west, you know? And let's go western as good as we can. I think we might go through Roanoke again. I'd sure like to go through there in the day. It's just been on my bucket list. Last time we did it, it was raining and dark. So let's get going. Well, we're cruising about 50 miles an hour right now. This legitimately is one of the most comfortable cars we've ever revived. I'm thinking of Betty White. That Cadillac was pretty good, wasn't it? It was. And I'm just trying to think. Oh, the Buick LeSabre! That was nice. But the rich Corinthian leather, the double stuffed seats with the, look at this, 97 way power. You know, like, what do you want out of your seat? It's going to give it to you. And it drives straight. New tires help, I guess. I don't know. We just keep our fingers crossed. We don't have any mechanical issues. It's a long, long way for a car that just got pulled out of a barn. Normally you would keep them around home for quite some time before you just said, let's go cross country. But also, I've always said this, the best way to get your car to run better is just to run it. Get the things out on the road, blow the cobwebs out of them. Remember, we didn't even put sparkulators or lightning hoses in this. It only needs what it needs, fellers. You know? But I want to try to find the interstate, I think, because I want to try to get to Roanoke, and then we'll probably start cutting through some back roads again. This is beautiful country out here. Pennsylvania is just incredible. Virginia, West Virginia, the Carolinas. I'd like to get up to Connecticut, Delaware, Rhode Island, Maine. Do something up there, maybe. Chrysler, New Yorker in the backyard. And, ooh, got some Jeepuses over there, the old Wagoneers. There's some gems out here. Anyway, let's put some miles down. Well, the car is filling with smoke. I can't tell if it's residual stuff burning off or if it's something like a water pump or alternator stuck or a belt slit, you know, burning off on it or something. Can't hear anything. We're gonna keep going a little bit, see if this clears up, but it's getting pretty bad. Oof. Power steering's still working, so we got a belt there. I'm not sure if that was the smog pump in the power steering or if those were separate. And I've only got dummy lights, so. That's not good. That's not good at all. I guess we're gonna have to hit an exit here. Yeah, listen. You can hear a valve train. Oh no. Pull in here. See if we can figure out what's going on. Oh boy. That ain't good. We shut it down. Made it like 30 miles, I think. Sounded like it did when we first started it. Ironically, it definitely has no oil pressure. None. I'm gonna let it cool down a minute, see if we're leaking anything, which doesn't look like I left a trail, and see if we can figure this out, but we're probably just lost the motor. Well, this one's pretty wild. Make sure you're sitting down. Pulled the oil stick, thought maybe we just had a bunch of water, maybe a head gasket went, viscosity was way down, it's watered down, that's why it's clicking and clanking. There is not even a drop of oil or residue or the smell of it on this. We're not leaking any. So how did we burn 5 quarts of motor oil in 30 miles? That's fairly intensive, you know. So let me see if I can limp it down to a store. There's one fairly close. I've got 2 quarts of ATF with me. We can use that in an emergency situation, especially since we know we're just going to burn it anyway. And it'll clean up the pistons and the rings and the crankcase. We're going to limp it down there, put some more oil in it, and then see if we can find a leak. So far I crawled underneath with a flashlight. There's not, you know, normally if you, for example, let's say you blow a ring on an oil filter, the gasket ring, or you accidentally double stacked them, there's going to be massive evidence of oil leaks. Should be all down the car, all over the trunk and everything. Nothing. So it's going into the combustion chamber somehow. So let me throw some ATF in this thing. We're gonna put her in a limp mode and try to get this thing over to the parts store. Digging around further. It's hard to see way down in there. Try to get you guys a view. See where my flashlight's pointing? That is the oil filter housing. It's dry, so we know it's not the oil filter. Then I started looking back here, and I'm seeing moisture around the oil pressure gauge and on the firewall and on the bell housing. So I bet if we sit here for a couple minutes, I know what we're going to end up seeing. It's 2 words. One starts with an R, the other starts with an M. And we are not going to be able to fix that on the road this quick. I mean, we could, but we'd have to separate the engine and transmission. So, yep, there it's starting to come out of the inspection cover. So, unfortunately, we have a severely blown rear main seal. So basically what's happening is all the oil is just dumping right out of the back of the engine there. They do make some snake oils, rear main and a bottle fixers, stuff like that. We could try some, but normally they leak. You know, you can get some mileage down, quart, 2 or 3. This is so severe. I mean, I would have to buy 50-gallon drums of oil to even try to make it. If I knew how to 360 quarts of oil, I think I'd need. If I'm doing math, I don't know how to do math good. It's crazy. I could buy a whole nother rig. Oh, Ow. And the amount of oil we're gonna probably end up buying. But anyway, I got the ATF in. Emergency substitution only. Let's crawl this down to the parts store, put in a bunch of snake oil. We can let it run there. We're running behind today with everything we had to do, so maybe we can grab lunch, let this idle in the parking lot. Probably already did some damage to the engine. And maybe that seal, right when it got smoking in the cab, it just went boom and just dropped everything. Because if it was a slow leak, like I say, we'd have stuff all over the car. So hopefully the bearings are okay and everything like that, but we're gonna find out here in a minute. See if we can limp this down. Okay, we got 3.4 miles. Okay, it built some pressure. Might be just enough to get us there. Keep the RPMs low. We can also shut it off while we're coasting. Okay. Didn't think about this one. Shut it off going downhill. Whoops. Yeah, I'm gonna need to try to fire this up again. Oh, maybe not. We might be okay. Okay, let's fire it again. Get some brakes back. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Why's it gotta be all straight downhill? It's actually working pretty good. I've hardly ran it, coasting again. And I believe the parts store is right over here. So as long as it starts again at the stop sign up here, we probably could make it. Well, we made it to the parts store. So now I can get this front end jacked up. I'm gonna wipe everything down, clean it up. I got a box of rags and make sure we can pinpoint it's for a fact coming out of the inspection cover and not something silly like the back of the intake gasket or something like that, which I don't think we'd lose that much oil that fast. Also, I found a Tom Petty CD whilst getting out my jack stands. So everything is basically canceled out and it's fine at this point. Wasn't really getting any good radio stations in. So I'm gonna get this up in there, wipe it down, then we'll go shopping for some snake oils and some super cheap motor oil because we're probably just gonna dump it on this guy's parking lot. Oops. Yeah, right here you can see it dripping right out of the center. Oh boy. Got two of these. It says it stops all the leaks. Well, we're gonna need all the help we can get. And of course some T4. I did grab a pan because I'm also going to pull the filter off, inspect that, just make sure we cover all of our bases. Doesn't look like that's the issue obviously, but I just want to make sure. If it looks fine, boop, right back up it goes, and then we'll put all the slurry in, probably keep the car up like this and run it, and then we can watch the drips happen. Well, as expected, filter looked just fine. Went ahead and filled her up, got the elixirs in that start it. Hopefully we're still not knocking and ticking. It's hard to say if we caused any damage or not. Guess we're about to find out. Come on now. Oh, we need keys. Why is the dash on? No key. Come on now. What do you say? Come on. Come on. It's quieting down. That's what I was worried about. That's what I was worried about. Still sounds terrible. Yeah, she's full. We'll wait. Maybe it'll rejuvenate. Uh-oh. Need some kitty litter. Okay. I got good news. I got bad news. The bad news is way back down in here, Well, you can't even see it. There's an oil pressure sensor that has broken and is spewing the oil. Not a rear main. It looked like a rear main because all of this is dumping down over the transmission, coming inside the inspection cover and dropping out the center. This is one of the reasons I always say throw those rubber gaskets away. When you're putting your intake on, you want to use room temperature vulcanization cream, because those can squirt out and cause the same exact symptom, and you're just going to have oil basically pouring down the backside of the engine, and it's going to look the same. The other news, take it as you will, good, bad, medium, is we still have a lot of clanking and clacking and everything else you can imagine when it did have oil and oil pressure in. So not really sure what's going on there yet. Hopefully it's not too far gone. So the store does not have the sensor, but I got to thinking, I think that's just a standard NPT thread. If I could get this one out somehow, maybe I could just buy a single oil pressure gauge pod, either plug it or use it as oil pressure, and then based on how many oil pieces we have left, we can determine if we're going to try to go 920 miles with this thing clanking and banging. But the trans was rebuilt by Mike, remember? So everything's fine. Here's our culprit, and this has a plastic top, and this is just a little spring diaphragm thing in here, and this plastic must have split, looks like right there. This was just pouring oil out. But doesn't that look familiar? So let's go in the hardware store. If I could somehow reach my hand down in there and get that tiny brass fitting in, we'll run a line and we'll put an actual oil pressure gauge in, and we'll hit, you know, two birds with one rock or whatever they say. Or is it a stone with two birds? I don't know. Well, we've got a gauge, cheapest one they had with the mount thing. There is a plastic line included in here, but I really don't like to run those. You'll end up with the same issue. They get brittle, crack, break, usually dump on the floor of your rig. So I got this kit. Also what that does is it gives me 2 extra ferrules and an extra one of these fittings in the center, because now I have to try to reach down in there and get that started, or I could wrap the outside in Teflon as well so it sticks to my socket to get it started. But it's, I would try to show you further, but it's, you know, 8 inches down back in there. Then we'll run this line into the cabin and mount this up somewhere, allegedly. Now guys, got it in. Just doing a leak test, that looks pretty good. Speaking of leaks, I found a vacuum leak. We'll get that fixed up. I gotta route that copper line a little bit better. Pick all this stuff up. I gotta clean the concrete. Gotta go in and get some brake clean so I can clean that up better. Get all the tools and stuff out of here. And then we can once again maybe, you know, can a guy get west? Is what I'm saying. That'd be pretty neat. Well, I think we're all patched up. Got the ground cleaned best I could. 73 miles to the next stop, and check this out. So you're saying there's a chance. Still got oil pieces. See if we can get this thing to quiet back down again. Next issue, we're not getting any fuel. I'm babying it to go 50. Up hills, I got to run the flashers. Hoping it's the filter, but you know, we know it's the pickup tube and the fuel tank. I was lazy and skipped pulling that, and now we're just getting bit. I'm gonna try to find an exit. This is like uphill. I gotta let the engine accumulate enough fuel, give it a little throttle, back off. This is gonna have to be our exit because I can't make it any farther. Oh boy. Guys got her parked back here in Murder Isle, you know, out of the way. I did actually buy a fuel tray when I was, where was I at? Whatever town we was in. So let me try to dig that out of the trunk. She's packed in there. We're gonna replace that first, pretend that that fixes it, go about another 15 miles, and then I'll be back with you. And we're gonna say, well, I guess we're dropping the fuel tank at Walmart, or wherever we are. That's gonna be a lot of fun. No. No. Huh. No, you misheard me. I said I thought that I packed a filter. No. No. Okay, so now we get to cobble this thing through town 11 miles. There's a Napa down there. If I can keep this running through stoplights and various hills and turns. Okay, is that a propane heater? It is. Wow. That still looks pretty good. Well, we're way off track. Miles off where we need to be, but we have a filter. So, I'm going to dig in here, take that clear filter out. Hopefully it's plugging here and not back in the pickup tube, because that's going to be a project and we'd have to try to hit that before it gets dark. But the rain is coming up on me pretty quick. You can actually see I've been driving through it. It's cleaning up. We even got, never even noticed this stripe up here that matches the pinstriping. Anywho's, let me dig this out. Safe to say, she's plugged here. Hopefully we haven't plugged the pump and the fuel make it happen here, but the clear one will let us better monitor what in the devil is going on, okay? And then we'll have to keep in mind we need to start stopping at parts stores along the way and stock up on these. I failed to do that on this trip. Got a little ahead of myself. I'm gonna run it for a couple minutes and see if we're actually getting enough fuel into that filter, first of all, and then secondly, what it's looking like. Looks better. It's actually fairly-ish clean, but it's not under load. A vehicle idling and free revving is completely different as far as the fuel consumption and demand on the ignition and fuel systems. So we're really not going to know until we jam this thing on the highway. I'm going to keep this metal filter, the old one, just in case. We might be able to blow that out with some brake cleaner or something like that if we get in a really bad pinch. But for now, I've got to try to work myself back onto the route. And I think we're like 30 some miles off kilter now, but it don't matter. It is what it is. As long as we're going westernly-ish, that's awesome. And you get to see really cute towns like this along the way. You meet some cool people, so it's all good. Pack back up once again, hit the road. Quick little fuel stop here. Gonna see what we used. Also want to add some more fresh fuel, try to dilute, all the rust and stuff that's in there. Not much. Let's see, well, actually that's terrible. It means we're only getting less than 10 miles a gallon. Okay, well, now we know, I guess. I was way off. First of all, I'm not good at trigonometry, okay? Second of all, I didn't take into account the mileage. We went way off road here to get the Napas. We're actually getting 21.16 miles per gallon, thanks to the, little 2-barrel and the whatever highway gear this thing's got. Moses sandals. And also the fuel restriction. It just couldn't get any fuel. Anywho's, I'm gonna get some beef jerky and nacho cheese and let's hit the road again. Well, unfortunately, I was that quickly able to determine it's the fuel tank. And I don't have a pickup tube, another one or anything like that, and obviously I don't have a fuel tank. We could cut the strainer off, but all that's going to happen is it's just going to keep plugging filters. So we're going to have to get creative with fuel capacity here. I've got something typed into my digital pocket computer GPS system. It's 49 miles, looks like. If we can limp it that far, we're going to have to come up with a temporary fuel system, and that's probably going to be the longest I've ever ran on something like that. But we're just out of options, and I need to get miles under my belt. So let's see if we can get to another parts store, cobble something up. Don't know if I'm going to make it up this hill. This is getting pretty unsafe, I have to admit. I'm going to have to probably ride the shoulder here any minute. I am nursing this thing. We're down to 30 some miles an hour with the flashers on. Yeah, I'm calling it. I got to get off the road. This is crazy. So we'll ride the shoulder. Uh-oh, I think I just quit. See if I can get over this hill. Basically, when you come off the throttle, it'll pump just enough fuel to pull through the carb, but it's not enough to fill the bowl. And that's obviously an issue, so I'll see if we can make it up this one and coast a little bit. We're only about 19 miles from that store. And if we can make that happen, Moses, sandals, give me a little room! Then we could patch this together potentially, but whew, this is becoming a long day in the old Chrysler. Imperial, it says. Coming out! Okay, downhill we go. Got some gas jugs. Someone just bought a real nice little 100 Ranger. Now we could swing across the road, get some fuel, and then back off to the side somewhere over there, and we'll rig up a fuel system or maybe come back over here out of the way. Their spring fling car show just got out and traffic is way backed up, but I don't mind. There's a lot of good classics coming by. They're shiny and they scare me. Well, the guy was talking to this nice feller next to me with the square body. And he says, "Hey Derek, how's it going?" I says, "Hey feller." He says, "You going to the swap meet?" And I says, "Swap meet? What are you talking about?" And he says, "You're in Carlisle." I had no idea. Carlisle swap meet, car show, whatever. I think I missed the gate though. It's after 5, it's almost 6. Nonetheless, let's cruise down the, oh my goodness. There's campers galore. Let's cruise down here and see what we can see. And if we got to fix on something, we'll fix on it there, you know? This is my favorite part of traveling, is just meeting random folks and seeing all the small towns and businesses and old buildings and antique shops and the old cars and shows that you randomly run into. All right, how do we, help me? How do we get in? Help! Well, he got some goodies. There's wagons coming out full of parts. I see a Trans Am for sale. It's like I'm too late. I'll ask. All this stuff. I'm sure we're on the low side here. Let me just pull in like I know what's going on. Well, we missed it. But now we know. Corvette convertible over there. Up on the trailer. I gotta put this up on the calendar for next year. We got a fastback Mustang. Not too terribly far from me, but we can make a trip out of it, you know what I mean? Interesting. This is probably like Iola, I would assume, but I don't know. You tell me. Bleep bloop it. You been here? Is it worth it? Huh? Okay. Let me know. Woo! Old Dodge is smoking. Okay, here's the plan. Don't have one. But I did buy this previously because I figured we might need it. So we're going to try to run a fuel line maybe through the leaf factory here or underneath the wheel well. This is nice. We don't have a frame around the window, so I can just roll this down, hook it in here. I started cleaning out stuff, putting stuff in the trunk. We are maxed out in here. And then we'll set these on the floor and we'll have 10 gallons of fuel. And you know the deal. That's just the way it's going to have to be. That's as far back as it goes. Some people tease me for these easy thumb twisty things. But man, when you can't get your mitts under those pumps and stuff, them come in handy. Got this because the rear view mirror fell off. This will aid our fuel line. Got this for Browery. He likes Corvettes. This is for Bailey. He likes first gens, and I got this one for Bentley. So I'll bring them home. Okay, let's get this done quick. Basically all we have to do is put that barrel connector in line right there that goes to the pump, and maybe if I cut just a notch, or we just do this temporarily, we can run it up through here and it won't get pinched. It just doesn't yell, pull me over, or back to the future assist as bad. We don't want to detract from this here. By the way, I've had probably 30 people come up while I've been here working. Nice to meet you, but it's not for sale right now. Maybe next year, I don't know. Might have to bring it back. People are loving this thing. Okay, we got it rigged up here, snagged around this so it doesn't get in my belts. Through here, hopefully this being back will leave this alone so it don't get pinched up, you know. Then, we need something solid on the fuel line, otherwise the bottom will curl up, right? So you're not getting all your capacity. So I used my extensions out of my rinky-dink toolkit, wound some hose clamps around that. Oh no, maybe it won't fit. Oh, it'll fit. Boom. Fuelage maximum. Now we just shut the door. Like that. Now when I jump in, I gotta adjust my mirror, that was out of whack. I could roll the window up until this about gets pinched, and that'll probably do us pretty good. Okay, let's load up, hit the road. Sun's coming down here pretty soon. We got a lot of miles yet to go. Just like taking a pulse in your body, if I squeeze this fuel line, I could feel the fuel pump pumping. So we're getting fuel, all is well there. Pretty big issue here going. That yellow jug is already empty, and that red one's halfway empty, and we ain't even gone nowhere yet. We're not even close to our next fuel stop. Uh-oh, this thing is sucking fuel big time. All right, guy's pulling off. We got to assess this because we ain't gonna get anywhere. I've literally only gone 19, 20 miles, and we're probably 7 gallons in. So my fear is the fuel pump now has failed, and it's just pumping all of the fuel right into the crankcase, which is not goodlier, you know. So let's pull over again, and we'll pull the oil checker dipstick. Whoops, this gas station is not open yet, but I guess we can maybe use the parking lot or something. Actually, I'll just swing around the other way. But if that's the case, I do have the Clicky clacky that we bought to do some testing. We could probably put that in line and run that guy. I might even be able to wire that in the cab here so we can turn it on and off right here instead of having to pop the hood each time. I gotta find a fuel station quick. Well, I pulled the dip of stick on there and it is over full, but not as much as I thought. Well, the fuel is going somewhere, and it sure as darn isn't going through the fuel make it happener, because that'd be 2.7 miles a gallon. So I'm gonna dig through the trunk, see if I can find that Clicky clacky. I hope I put it in there, right? Why wouldn't I? It was new. Otherwise, I don't think there's any parts stores around here. There's a utility company or something. That's pretty much about it. But anyway, plan would be to get that Clicky clacky in line somewhere. I gotta see if I got that wire. Oh boy, we're in it now, and we're losing daylight. So let me find some stuff, see if we can cobble up. I figured it out. I was looking for leaks and starting to figure out wiring, and then it dawned on me I made a novice mistake. Things happen when you get in a hurry. I'm willing to admit it. Okay, everybody makes mistakes. This system, as I previously appropriately pointed out, has a return fuel system. Well, guess what happens when the fuel pressure exceeds what the carburetor needs? Yep, it's sending it back to that tank. So I either need to run another fuel line or just close that off. I could run one line to the other tank, for example. Maybe I'll just do that. That's what's going on, is the excessive fuel is just going back to the actual fuel tank. Whew. Okay, so let me figure out a plan of action here. Wish I had one of those fuel filters with the little return doodabby on it, but I don't. It's neither here nor there. Tomorrow. Okay, I'll plan something out. Be with you in a minute here. Here's a plan. Don't have one. Here's what we're gonna do. I forgot that. But here's an idea. I actually don't want to cobble up this fuel system. I think this is a pretty neat car. I said it. It's pretty neat. I don't want to just start hacking up all the factory conversion stuff. So I think I'm going to tootle down to a parts store. Again, we're going off the beaten path. But I can get the right size fuel line. And we can tag into that where the rubber line is on the frame rail. And then bring that back into a jug in the cab. So we're pumping fumes right in while we're driving. But when and if we make it back home, it's not irreversible damage. I could just patch this up correctly and get her fixed. Maybe. If you guys want to see this thing again, it's kind of starting to like it. The ride is unbelievable. So anyway, I'm going to pull around up front, fill up again. That might get us into town. And then we'll get some fuel line and some accoutrements and patch it up. Made it. Okay, first thing I got to do is skinny this up. So we're going to use some aeronautical ties and run a few of them down because I plan on jamming both hoses into the same tank until that's almost depleted and then just move them over essentially. Hopefully that'll work. Yep, been a while since Chrysler engineered something this efficient, but I'll let them take it. This being longer makes sure that this hits the bottom of the fuel cans before this and it doesn't close off. So I'll pop the hood, knock the return line off, plug this in just like the other one, run some zip ties along the way, and that should do it. Boom, that's done. So now the excess fuel will come out of that regulator, back down into the smaller hose, follow this right back up, drop into that tank. Same system, just now with return, for performance. Every time I say it, something happens. Sinatra here is a little cranky, I think. So I'm not going to say it. Let's just the heat works in the car after it blew out 47 pounds of needles and leaves and stuff like that. But I'm just pulling into, I think this might be like a Motel 6 actually. I went ahead and spent a few more dollars this time to try to get things like an AC unit that works and hot water, as compared to my last day. 15-hour day, give or take, of driving and breakdowns, and I only just crossed into West Virginia. That's fine. Tomorrow is going to have to be an absolute cannonball lawn dart if we want to try to make it back in one shot. But we'll see. Sinatra has been cranky. Maybe tomorrow will be better. Gonna do the usual, get all my gear, a suitcase, unhook the battery, not so it doesn't get stolen, but just so it doesn't burn down this motel. That probably wouldn't be good. But we'll catch you guys in the morning. We'll see what we can get done. Well, good morning. 11 million liner, early o'clock. Let's check the oil on this and then hit a gas station. Best time to check the oil is right in the morning. Everything is settled to the bottom of the pan, from the valve train, you name it. It's going to be the most accurate. Well, quit moving around on a guy. It's exactly where it was yesterday. I thought I was gaining oil yesterday, but then I thought about it whilst traveling. I didn't account for the oil stop leak stuff I put in. I put 2 jugs of that in. So it's actually not burning any oil. Oil leak's fixed. Gas system seems to be working. These old rotten belts are staying on somehow. The old hoses, the upper one's been replaced at some point. Brakes seem to be hanging in there. Of course, we're not really hitting them much, thankfully. I haven't lost the hubcap yet. It's just doing the thing. Radio works. That's probably my favorite. Anywho's, let me load this up. Let's go get some fuel. Cold start. I have confidence. There we go. You can hear the fuel coming back. Oh boy, we must be. Oh yeah, we're on fumes. Might have to switch tanks. We'll run out. Snuck 4.6 gallons in there. So yeah, we rolled in on the bubbles. Welcome to Derek's non-fictional storytelling time. I hoofed it down to Buffalo Wild Wings last night because the guy was going to have a cold snack or 3 and didn't want to drive. And I like their salad with the 2 wings on the top, you know, and you get them extra hot. Mix it anyway. So I walked 39 miles. No, it was like 1. And I get there and it was fire. And I don't mean like cool, like the kids say. I mean, there was actual fire. There was a fire truck there. And the alarms were going off. And I didn't have a key to that panel, so I couldn't silence it because I was hungry. So I walked to another establishment, which I won't name, and had their salad, but it's not agreeing with my body. I don't feel good today is what I'm saying. Oh. Okay, I just checked the map. We still have, I didn't even look at the total miles. We just crossed into West Virginia. It's got to be well over 700 still, so that's pretty good. First fuel stop, 72 miles. I got to try to figure out the balance of the jugs here, how far we can go on either one jug or both jugs. I do have it set up. I could just flip them over. So if we get to where we think we need fuel and I'm looking good, I could just plop it into the other one. Then I'll just pin another fuel stop farther down the road. But I'm going to stop saying words now because we need to travel. Here we go. Oh, look at the fuel pressure. Still has 50, no more than 50, 55. This Corvette is just, oh, that was a Mustang. I'm getting out of here. There's going to be light poles flying. I feel like a majority of you have been around the channel for a long time now, but if you're new, well, welcome. And if you're wondering, why does this guy do this? Why is he traveling all over the country finding these old, forgotten cars? Well, cars are much like people. They deserve a second chance, in my opinion, and a lot were just mistreated, misused, abused, neglected,
not maintenance correctly, you know, just rode hard and put up wet, and then they get parked and then forgotten, and some of them are just flat out abandoned. And I love to save them before it's too late and put them back on the road and get them into the hands of somebody that cherishes that vehicle, or maybe that story, or whatever it may be, because once they're gone, they're gone. And it's happening quickly, right under our teeth bones, one would say. But mostly I enjoy the history of it. You know, that car was driven to someone's wedding and a birthday party, and it, you know, it was someone's first car. There's so many memories. It was my grandpa's car. We did this. We went to Yellowstone in it. I love learning all that. I love learning the history of the vehicle makes and models. I like quirky cars, obviously. But a subsidy of all of that is I get to travel this beautiful country. There's an Edsel. Ooh, and like a 46 Chevy. A guy gets to travel this beautiful country and go through all these small towns and meet great people and see awesome things and explore and be spontaneous. And that's what we're doing right now. We're going through Shenandoah National Park. It's a nice looking weed whacker. It's like a still. And I keep seeing signs about caverns. Well, we're going to one. We're going to I believe it's Luray Caverns. We're climbing a mountain right now. Not really. Hillside. Let's go check this thing out. We're gonna go splunking. Hopefully they got wide walkways so I could drag my bum knee around, but let's get underground. This thing looks beautiful on the reviews. And we'll see what else we can do today as well. This guy's got stuff for sale. Ooh, a Suburban. Firewood. Huh. What a beautiful drive that was. I love all the architecture on the East Coast, and I probably haven't even scratched the surface, but all the stone, brick, and rock and stuff like that. Even this place is made like that, but this place is packed. Let's get in here. Perfect time to let the brakes cool down on the Imperial. Oops. I had to jam that thing in the second and try to get her to blow up coming down the hill. Got my ticket. Quite the get up here. There's also a Cars and Carriage Museum. We better swing through there, you know, but we're going down a hill. Thought we'd have to go up a hill. So far we're doing good. If we keep going down, I'll be fine. I think we're going in there. That was incredible. Fun fact number 1046, I have been in a lot of caves. A lot. Mostly Black Hills,
Rocky Mountain area, and this was vastly superior. Just gorgeous. You could be down there for weeks. But let's go ahead and head over to the Cars and Carriage Museum next. Well, that was a really nice display. It was almost like transportation through time, the way they had them arranged. Very cool spin on a car museum. Enjoyed it very much. Okay, we have a lot of miles to go. But first, we got to stop by Cooters on the way back to the highway. Well, it looks like Bo and Luke are here. I think I need that brake line, actually. This is one of them units that hang all the panels over a Vic. And they get jumped a lot now, but still looks rad. Well, that place was neat. Nice little gift shop. And they just getting to play Cooters and the Rockabillys or something. We're getting ready to play, and the room was already packed. They don't even start for an hour. And I had to go in there. A bunch of grandma and grandpa type folks. Real sweet. Then I got a cafe too, but I ain't got time for food right now. Next stop, Hard Rock Casino. I got, I think, $21 cash, and I'm looking for one game specifically. Buffalo! If you know, you know. Okay? Let's see if we can find it. Ironically, Tom Petty's CD is screaming breakdown at me, and I can't get up this hill. I'm having fuel delivery issues.
I don't know if I pinched a hose off or something, or that mechanical pump is failing, but that's really the only two things that could be happening right now. So I'm gonna jump out and see if I can figure this out quick. The filter is just barely spitting and spurting, so it ain't pulling fuel. Oh, this might be the issue right there. I changed jugs. I might have got a little. Now we can see it pumping. Yep, that's all it was, thank goodness. I've normally been taking the exits and sitting on the off-ramp and switching jugs, but we just passed where I plan to go to a fuel stop. Moses sandals! Anyway, I got excited because we're getting farther, so I just jammed it in the other one, but I pulled it too tight and pinched the hose off in the mirror. Whoops! Anywho's, we're finally getting some miles down. I think we got to stop at about 70, 80 miles. Fill both the jugs up. And see if we can make it to this casino. Just want to play for a couple minutes. Motor's quieting down a little bit. Not a lot, a little. You know what we haven't tried yet? Oh, sloshing my fuel. One more try. Nope. No power brake. All right, how are we gonna get back in the traffic? By lots of throttle. I got her pegged. We got guard railage coming. Okay, we made it. All right. Well, I'm glad that mechanical pump isn't failing. Also reminds me I should have grabbed the Clicky clacky when we got the different hose. I don't know what I was thinking. Well, we made it. They tricked on a guy. It is Bristol Casino future home of Hard Rock. But they already updated the interwaves in the Google machine. That's fine. Hopefully they do have some grub in here. Guy hasn't eaten. That'd be nice. Let's see if we can find this machine. Waste $21 and then hit the road. For you kids watching, gambling is an addiction and a waste of money. Make sure you pay for education and car parts first, then, put her all on black or something. You know what I mean? It's not looking very good right now. A lot of walking. Bring the coinage. Oh no, bring it again. I got some eagles. They ain't looking good. Well, if you were to guess that finally, after playing all these years, multiple states, hundreds of machines, randomly, $10, $15, $20 here, a guy finally hit it big, you would be wrong. I lost $22, but I did meet a fan and he bought me a beverage. And I got to hear a steel guitar being played live. So, we're good.
Yet another fuel stop. This is why the capacity's nice. It's a lot of just stop and go, wasting time. Looking at the clock on the dash, which started when I connected the battery this morning, it just runs. It started at midnight. We've been in the car for 11 hours and 49 minutes, I think it said. Still got 3 or 4 hours left if I want to go all the way home tonight, which is going to put us well past midnight. I'm going to try to push because just another night in a motel, the expense, and I'm going to be home tomorrow and half a day is gone. But I struggle driving at night, as you guys know. So I don't know. I'm going to go as far as I can. If I can at least get to Cookville or something like that. And then in the morning, maybe shoot back quick, but we'll see. Maybe we'll just even take a nap in the car tonight. Seats are comfortable enough. The interior decorating is very astute in this thing. I found some 87 regular fuel and supper. Go over and snag on some tacos. I need some coffee too. I'll be dipped. They still glow, and I got some tacos. Moses, this guy is all up in my teeth. Taco review. Pretty good. Different. I had a cold pickled carrot and onion garnish on it. Kind of gave it a zing or a zip on there. Anyway, gonna try to find some oldies or jazz in the AM and just cruise as far as I can, I guess. Just did a light check. Tail lights are working. The license plate bulb is working. The side lights came on now. Headlights obviously work, so we're just gonna tootle. And next stop, of course, every 100 miles, 105 miles for fuel. Well, hey, good morning. It's the next day. Well, I guess technically not. A guy crawled in. I can't remember what time it was, about 1 o'clock, I think. The Imperial has made it 20 plus years sitting in a barn. Steve's first car he got when he was 16. This thing is just littered with history. It's got a lot of cool stuff about it. And it fought us. It fought us quite a bit here and there, but nonetheless, 950 plus miles back home. And yes, you are going to see this car again. I don't know what it is about it. The dorky body lines, the fact that it's pretty rare, the fact that most people don't like it. I'm not really sure, but I believe every car deserves a second chance, and I have to see this thing cleaned up. We've got to wash it. We've got to polish the paint. We've got to polish the wheels. We need to get a fuel system figured out. Tank and a sender if I can find it. Fix all the fuel lines and all that stuff. Clean up the interior, get the mold out of this thing, and go for a proper drive. Maybe even do the full tune-up on it. We're still on the original sparkulators and lightning hoses. And then we'll probably pass it around to somebody that can continue it. But thanks for watching Vice Grip Garage. Appreciate you very much. And hey, stay tuned. There's more revivals coming. Now I gotta unpack this thing. This is becoming a dirt bike factory.